After 8 seasons, the rebuild of the Buffalo Bulls is now complete. We've taken this once one-star program to the very top of the college football world. We've built a monster. Star players all across this roster have made this team what it's become. School legends finished their careers with a championship title, and a true freshman quarterback opened his career, leading us to glory with one of the best quarterback seasons that not just happened in this dynasty, but all across the channel. It was a journey unlike any other, and we've made it to the top of the college football world. And with that, we have now become the target in college football. And it's time for us to defend our championship for one last year. Welcome back to the Buffalo Bulls Dynasty, everybody. We aren't done quite yet. Today we're going to go into Season 9. I'll be covering the offseason that I streamed a few weeks ago, showing the change this team has now seen. And then we'll get into Season 9. How successful will the Bulls be in defending their title and trying to repeat as college football national champions? Year 8 was certainly special, but it's tough in college sports to stay at that level of success when the roster is changing. It's inevitable. When some of your best players graduate or head to the NFL early, how do you respond to that? The best part about finding that out are the players who become the new stars of your program. And this is a team that still returns a lot of good core pieces, especially on offense, with quarterback Kenyon Traylor. The three-headed monster in the backfield is set to return. But it's the defense now that needs significant overhauls, with Antoine Gatto, Troy Hodel, Leon Edmond, and Larry Pan all graduating. Can this team run it back without those key faces, along with senior kicker Morgan Grass-Manis? Well, let's get into the offseason and talk about which players are leaving. We had some great juniors that I thought could leave to the NFL early. And the biggest star there is Oscar McNabb, the speedster at wide receiver, instrumental in our postseason success. And as we go into the players leaving stage of the offseason, he does end up declaring to the NFL early. My rule has always been I won't persuade players who are projected to go in the first 3 rounds. Oscar McNabb is leaving Buffalo, but we are able to persuade Larry Wheeler to return to build up that draft stock. But otherwise, we do lose an extremely talented group of seniors and multiple NFL draft picks. This is our best season of the series in terms of sending talent to the NFL, with 6 players ultimately getting drafted, all key starters on last year's championship team. There wasn't a lot to do in off-season recruiting. We already had a good high school class that put us at number 10 in the recruiting rankings. The issue we have seen throughout this dynasty is the transfer portal usually leaves us very few options. I wanted to find a receiver that could replace Oscar McNabb, and I didn't have the chance to do that. The higher-ranked recruits are just not interested in Buffalo, and that's true at most positions. I only ended up pursuing a few players here in off-season recruiting, and we were successful in adding a punter in Terrell Wimbley, and then the lone transfer is going to be linebacker Jason Hawkins. He comes to us from Louisville. The recruiting class overall had some promise, but with the state of our roster now, it is so much tougher for freshmen to crack the starting roster. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the players we brought in, as I think all of them have ended up being redshirted. But there are some excellent players if I ever find that I want to continue this series. I've recruited like I'm never leaving. So there's always going to be talent ready to go. Fetu Sammy, one of my favorite players in this class, highly athletic linebacker. But the roster is now in a spot where true freshmen are not going to be getting on the field. Last year we had two. Keenan Cleveland, the top running back, and then quarterback Kenyon Traylor. This season is different. Jamison Corner ends up being an offensive lineman. He was another one of my favorite players in this class. I love the abilities and the athleticism. I decided to keep him on the offensive side despite better ratings actually for the defensive line. I brought in some athletes. Marco Ferreira, okay, he's actually the exception here because with the graduation of Joel Treggs, Marco Ferreira is the best fit to succeed him as fullback and play a little bit of tight end at the same time. Let's go to training results now, and I wanted to see who would take a big leap here going into Season 9. Who has a chance to join this core after so many players end up graduating or leaving? And I wanted to see if there was somebody who could stand out at the wide receiver position. First up, Kenyon Traylor, who was so great as a true freshman. He now moves up as an 82 overall with all the coaching boosts. He is, of course, still the starting quarterback. At running back, the three-headed monster is intact, and D'Angelo Meyer did not choose to transfer again. But let's talk wide receiver. We did have a freshman who takes a massive leap, and that is Carl Agnew, the redshirt freshman. I have recruited a lot of high-ranked receivers over the last few years, but the leap he just took with 99 release, extremely high route running with 96 speed, makes him an ideal replacement for the great Oscar McNabb. I also felt like Buck Jacob took a nice leap towards being a slot receiver. At tight end, Nelly Jarrell now becomes the number one, replacing Mike Dugans. The offensive line does lose a few starters from last season, but we have recruited that very consistently, and we have good players ready to step in, including Jaron Missouri, the redshirt freshman at left tackle. Stephen Makovica and Larry Wheeler return as edge rushing starters for this year. They've both played a lot of snaps in the past. Vince Scotland-Williamson takes a big leap at defensive tackle. He's a good run stopper primarily, with Braden Augustine, one of the most intriguing pass rushers behind him, 99 finesse moves. At linebacker, we have to replace Leon Edmond, the captain of our defense. Jamal Harper is one of those players that played great last season and can take on more snaps. Isaac Truman and Brian Dragosevich can also hold down the other roles. Dragosevich actually one of the highest rated players now on the team. In the secondary, we return most of our starters. Devontae Carrion and Devin Hester played on the outside, but Tyreek Carmona becomes the new slot corner, with Dan Calcaterra also capable of playing that role. Anthony Titus returns at safety after an amazing end to the season, and Carlos Harmon now becomes the starting strong safety. And that's how our team looks going into Season 9. As I looked at who we could face for non-conference opponents in Year 9, Arkansas has now seen David Ogbonna transfer back home to finish his career. It's his third school. This is college football now. A lot of movement. Ogbonna spent 2 years at Buffalo, 2 years at UNC, and now with his return to Arkansas, we are going to add them to the very top of this schedule. Arkansas State and a championship rematch with West Virginia make up the 3 non-conference games here in Season 9. We open against the Razorbacks. Here's the roster with Stephen Makovica topping the charts at 94 overall. The team is a 91. They still give a slight edge to our defense. So hopefully we can do a good job replacing some of those star players. Here are the pass catchers alongside Kenyon Traylor we'll be focusing on in Season 9. Very excited about Carl Agnew's emergence and if he can live up to the hype. Roger Grimm is still a starter, and there's some really good depth. I also like Nelly Jarrell as a more athletic receiving tight end option. At running back, you already know DeMarco Lacumbo, Keenan Cleveland, Jimmy Sampson. It just doesn't get better than this trio. You've got the power, speed, pass-catching ability. This is the best backfield in college football. The offensive line I do see as a step back this season. Still good, but we moved on from some really good players. We have a freshman now at tackle, a new sophomore starter at guard. The trenches, I think, remain a strength, but maybe we don't have the same high-end talent that anchored these lines that we once had. Linebacker, I do think, is strong, but you never think that replacing a guy like Leon Edmond, who can go rack up 160 tackles and just make plays all over the field, that's not going to be easy. But I am excited about this secondary. Larry Pan was an amazing one-year starter. He's replaced by Tyreek Carmona. But Hester, Carrion, and Titus all return. Titus showed some amazing flashes at the end of year 8. And of course, Kenyon Traylor begins the second season of his college career. As a sophomore, he'll have Carl Agnew as one of his top options. And without Oscar McNabb, he has big shoes to fill, but all kinds of potential. In the slot, there will be a change. Buck Jacob will now play over Sean Blade in most situations. Jaron Missouri is the new blindside protector at left tackle. I felt like he was our best pass protector for the job. And Dan Calcaterra I see as a role player that can have an impact with that 99-man coverage as a third safety, fourth cornerback. The journey begins in year 9 against the Arkansas Razorbacks, and let's dive in to the final year that I'm planning on doing here in the Dynasty. This will take multiple videos. I have a plan, but I'd love to know what you think of this video today. I'm kind of experimenting here as we approach College Football 26, and I wanted to give us all one last season with the Buffalo Bulls. So with David Ogbonna leading out the Razorbacks, let's jump into this game. First quarter, David Ogbonna taking the field with his third team. And on 3rd and 4, he sets up a screen pass and gets intercepted. He threw it right to Stephen Makovicka. That is the first touchdown of the year. Of all the ways we could have scored, that's the last thing that would have been on my mind. He just threw it right to him. Right place, right time. How about that for an intro to Season 9? David Ogbonna comes back on the very next drive now. This is first play of the possession. Another screen. This one's complete and getting away. That's Callum Bloom. And he's into Buffalo territory. Shakes a tackle at Devin Hester. And yes, they respond on an 84-yard screen pass touchdown. This could have been a loss of 2. Tyreek Carmona, sloppy tackle, and then no one's left outside of Devin Hester to make a play. We're already missing Larry Pan. Let's get into Buffalo's offense, and Kenyon Traylor finds the new guy. That is number 9, Carl Agnew. He's going to line up in the same spot McNabb did, running a lot of the same routes. Here's Traylor back to throw again, finding Roger Grimm, whose role remains the same. I like him in a catch-and-run capacity. And, of course, on 3rd and short, what are you going to do against the wrecking ball of DeMarco Lacumbo? Got to get Agnew into this offense. There's a screen. That turns into a quick gain of 7. Again, short yardage. It's DeMarco Lacumbo running up the left side for a first down. Keenan Cleveland checking in now. He heads out to the right side. He gains 5. Haven't really thought about changing up the running back rotation a whole lot. That's a catch by Grimm, taking us down to the 11. And then we're right back to Lacumbo. He runs out the right side, powering his way into the end zone. First offensive touchdown on the year. Lacumbo scores his 31st career rushing touchdown. He had 16 in year 8. 14-7 Buffalo, second quarter. Ogbonna pulls it back and takes it outside as he runs ahead for an Arkansas first down. Then back to throw, going to the outside. It's a gain of 6. Not trying to do anything too fancy here. Arkansas does get into a rhythm, and they take it into scoring position here, trying to tie the game. From the 28, Ogbonna under pressure, and he gets taken down. It's Stephen Makovica. He is now a full-time starter. Arkansas settles for a field goal, and they do add 3. Moving ahead, Buffalo, 5.5 to go in the first half, and a screen set up. Nelly Jarrell. He's our most athletic tight end since Kevin Kajust. Then we run Lacombo up the left side now, powering across midfield, opening the year with 8 carries, 51 yards. Here at the 43, time runs out on Kenyon Traylor. What's the plan on 3rd and long? We put 4 receivers on the field. Traylor climbs, and he threads it perfectly to Buck Jacob. There's the new slot receiver, finding an opening in the defense. 2 minutes to go now in the first half, and Traylor underneath again. Sean Blade still has a role on this team, but it has changed. Always like him as the field condenses. On 3rd and 3, again, pretty good coverage out of Arkansas, and they're able to sack Kenyon Traylor. The new kicker is Charlie Bowanko, and that is wide right. I screwed up the accuracy, and focusing on that led to me screwing up the power as well. So Buffalo doesn't get anything here. 14-10, all over Ogbonna, our 3rd sack of the day. 7 combined here in the first half. So we end up getting another drive out of this with over a minute left on the clock. And we'll dump it off. There's Jimmy Sampson, always playing here in the 2-minute offense. Down to 50 seconds. Traylor, no, cannot hook up with Jarrell, who did get caught up a little bit in his route. On 3rd and 10, they get to him again. Felt like it was tough to just get comfortable throwing the ball early on. They were in the backfield, playing good coverage. So we go on into the second half. Good job by Lacombo, leaping through, getting about 7. Then we try to get Traylor on the move, and under duress, he does throw a strike and hooks up with Carl Agnew. 4th catch of the day. At the 49, we try Sampson, and Arkansas right there to meet him. We're usually at our best getting into 3rd and short, but can't do it here. Dodging pressure, Traylor gets met on the scramble and does wind up 4 yards short. Arkansas keeps us from extending the lead. Then at their own 5, they take over. A fake from Ogbonna. Then he lets it fly and throws into coverage. It's intercepted. First of the season for Devin Hester. 3rd of his career. Short field for Buffalo. After the turnover, we're going for the big play, and Jimmy Simpson, no, it gets intercepted right back. I thought we had him there. Jimmy Sampson on the wheel route. The linebacker following him does get picked. I thought it was game over. But actually the defender who was covering Nelly Jarrell undercuts it. And it's the first pick of the season for Kenyon Traylor after 3 interceptions thrown as a freshman. Same score later in the 3rd. Buffalo still trying to put together a good second drive, and there's a wide open Nelly Jarrell. Not the same blocker as Mike Dugans, but he opens up options for us down the field. Cleveland gets a carry, and Arkansas really did not let us get the run game going here. I tried to give us a few more carries outside of Lacombo, and it was a mess. Field goal team's back on. Bowanko, 51 yards. That one's better, and it's now a touchdown advantage for Buffalo. Again, defense keeps playing well. It's still 17-10. Here is Traylor. He's trying to go up top. It is Agnew, and he cannot pull it down. This was a 3rd and 20. We're just trying to get the big play and came so close. But points did not come easy in this matchup. It remains close as Ogbonna keeps again, opens the 4th quarter with a run of 14. Facing a 3rd and 6. Quick strike over the middle. Beats the cover 2 defense. Arkansas driving, and a well-blocked run. They get this one to go for 10 plus. Inside our 30. Running this again. Good power through a tackle. Gaining 8. Spread out here for Ogbonna. This is a 3rd and 4, and this time they do come up short. We force 4th down. They really can't justify a field goal, so big play as we send pressure, and Ogbonna beats it to get the conversion. Nice grab on the outside. Goal to go for the Razorbacks, and they punch it in, a rushing touchdown, and they end up tying the game at 17 all. Can Traylor lead us down and untie this game? Trying to run with Cleveland. Can't juke through. He only gains a couple. At the 27 here, it is a short throw, and it gets intercepted. Picked off. Touchdown, Arkansas. Completely misread the defense there. It's a disguised look, and I completely fell for it. He was playing like 8 yards off, and I thought we'd have the flats wide open. Then he comes crashing down, jumps it the other way. And suddenly down 7. Now need the touchdown just to retie the game, and still this running game isn't going anywhere. Not without Lacumbo in the power. But we've got to throw the ball at this stage. Caught, that's Nelly Jarrell on a gain of 11. Inside of 4 minutes. Traylor with time, sends it downfield, wide open, it's Agnew, touchdown! That's how you replace Oscar McNabb. We needed a play like this so bad. It's just a deep post, and they lose track of him. He beats the defense and can still easily catch the underthrown ball and go untouched. Welcome to the Carl Agnew Show, everybody. 24 all, now the pressure is on the defense. As Ogbonna takes off through the middle of the defense again, he gets first down yardage. Trying to get closer, sitting down in the soft spot there. First down, there may be a conversion away from field goal range. And Ogbonna throws a dart over the middle, and they easily get into field goal range here. But now time is our enemy as they run it down, use a timeout. 3rd and inches. And Arkansas does get the conversion, and honestly at this point, you're better off letting them score and at least having a chance to respond. But what do? We stop them inside the 1 on the next play. 30 seconds come off the clock, and then they punch it in on the very next snap, leaving us very little time to answer. This is not how you want to celebrate your first game coming off the championship. 24 seconds, no timeouts. What can we possibly do? Traylor, Agnew, out of bounds, gaining 6. You gotta get to the end zone somehow. 69 yards away, caught by Grimm. We get to the 44, and from there we've just got to send this ball downfield. It's Traylor. He's got a strong arm. Deep downfield. It is intercepted to end the game. And for Kenyon Traylor, he opens the season with 3 interceptions. The same amount he had during the entire national championship winning season. Bad luck on the last one, obviously. But I knew 3 would be difficult to ever match. I don't think it'll ever be topped on this channel. Maybe if I run the option. But Arkansas hands us a loss in the first game of the year. 3 interceptions. The passing game felt a bit tough at times, and then we just went away from Lacumbo too much. The runs with Cleveland and Sampson did not work, and the power running element kind of disappeared in the second half. This was a game that we definitely should have still won. And it's a frustrating start to Season 9, but I think that first loss for a team coming off a title always serves as a wake-up call. And although we are not able to beat Ogbonna, he moves to 2-0 against his old team. It was a non-conference game. How do the Bulls respond to it? Tumbling down to now number 10 in the polls. The identity with this team needs to remain the running game. We have to stick with Lacumbo when it's working that well, and we have to get the other guys going too. That was still a bad performance from the other part of the running game. And our next game would be against Arkansas State with quarterback Diego Quintero trying to pull off a massive upset and our return to Buffalo. At least the home crowd didn't have to endure that disappointing, heartbreaking loss. We're back home with a packed stadium. Buffalo looking to bounce back as we celebrate the championship in our home stadium again. And Arkansas State opens with the ball. Here is Diego Quintero. And he threads one through a very tight window just past Tyreek Carmona. It's a 23-yarder to Trevor Beckett. And here's a good run up the middle. Run defense, a little hit or miss early on. Down to the 9. It's Quintero, and the pocket collapses around him. That's a sack. Makovica in the mix yet again. And on the very next play, third down, Augustine. He's going to get through, and he gets the sack to end the drive. Red Wolves do take a 3-0 lead. But here's Buffalo now just trying to right the ship. Improve all the things we did poorly, and Keenan Cleveland has already had a better game in his second of the year. That's a first down. We go to Lacumbo next, and he powers ahead to move the sticks. We got trailer now. We have to have this multi-dimensional running game like we did a year ago. 3rd and inches, right back to it. This is what Buffalo Bulls football is supposed to be all about. We run the ball on our terms when we want to do it. We have a high-efficiency passing game, and we take care of the football. Trying to punch this one in. Lacumbo works his way down to the 6. And on 3rd and 3, Jarrell unable to hold on to that contested catch. So we send out Charlie Bowanko and tie the game. Second quarter, same score. Arkansas State has the ball. And Quintero off the fake. He throws a pick, and it's Devontae Carrion. With that sticky coverage, he's so quick, usually all in the receiver's face, and he comes away with the interception. Ball is a little bit behind the receiver and goes right to him. Buffalo takes over, short field. And we're trying to maybe set up a big play here. And Carl Agnew makes a great catch and then gets decked at the end of the play. Great contested catch, very strong hands. We got so lucky a receiver broke out like him. Here's Cleveland now on the sweep. Nice move. He gets through. That's a first down. Cleveland feels back this game. And then against the blitz, there we go. Agnew sits it down. It doesn't always have to be flashy. Got to play the possession role too. Next on first down, trailer, end zone, caught! Touchdown, Nelly Jarrell. Uses his body to absorb the contact and make the contested touchdown grab. Buffalo on top 10-3, still in the second. Still getting the ball out to Carl Agnew. Let him make a play. That's a good catch and run to the 41 of Arkansas State. And then we get the locomotive going, and he's in the open field. Down to the 22. 19 yards for Lacumbo. Here's Trailer next, finding Sampson. So many contested catches here. We're trying to find the end zone again. Arkansas State, though, plaster the receivers. Trailer lofts it, and Jarrell scores again. You just gotta be patient and wait for your opportunity sometime. That's Nelly Jarrell, waiting for Mike Dugans to graduate. Now he's got a 2-touchdown game. We just put the defense in a no-win situation there. 17-3. This is what we wanted to see from the Bulls. Down goes Quintero. There's Larry Wheeler making an impact. Down to 30 seconds. We're going to stuff the run here and look to get the ball back again. Buffalo with 15 seconds. We can work with that, can't we? Dumped off, Lacombo. Get out of the way! First down. We're setting up the kicker, Charlie Bowanko, here to tack on a few extra. 17 points up at the break for Buffalo. It ain't looking good for Arkansas State. Needing a spark to start the second half. That ain't gonna do it. Vince Scotland Williamson gets into the backfield. And then they face 3rd down and 12. And this pass is gonna go down the middle. And that is just what the Red Wolves needed. That is Philip Ogunbowale. And he runs this down the middle. Titus misses the tackle. And the Bulls give up another big touchdown. It becomes a 10-point game. Lacombo on the next drive loses the football. And Arkansas State takes it with a chance to add on even more. At our 36-yard line, they throw a screen to the outside. Nice gain of 8 this time. And on 3rd and 2, letting it develop and finding a wide open receiver inside the 5. That is Trevor Beckett. Red Wolves going on a run as they cap the drive off with a touchdown. It is a 3-point game just like that. What a momentum swing. We got a game suddenly. Buffalo facing a 3rd and 3. Lacombo, he's got it easily. Nice job up front. I knew in this game we couldn't stop giving him the ball in the second half. Here's Jimmy Sampson now on the swing screen. There's a first down. Gotta have all 3 running backs involved well for this to really be balanced. Cleveland's in the game here, but Traylor is gonna go down again with good coverage down the field. That's the first sack for Arkansas State. All their big plays happening at just the right time. Who knows what this is here? Just scrambling around aimlessly, hoping for something good to happen. We give the ball back to Arkansas State. They're down 3. Going downfield. Pass intercepted by Devontae Carrion. Second of the day. Big answer for this defense. And nice to see this secondary that returns 3 starters, making a lot of early plays. Well, let's get to the next drive now. Offense a bit cold, and here's Cleveland. He's going to get away and now make a play out of it. Turn a negative into a positive. Very inspirational stuff from Keenan Cleveland. On first down, shot downfield, caught by Roger Grimm. Bulls answer back to extend the lead again to 2 scores. Gets off the line extremely well. Not enough makeup speed. Grimm makes the big play. All right, Red Wolves had their run. Do they have a counterpunch now? It's Quintero sacked. Larry Wheeler. He's in a big role now, and that is sack number 20 for the senior. On 2nd and 19, they try to run through the defense to get some room. That doesn't work out. Then a false start. It all starts to go wrong for the Red Wolves. And they have to punt it out of their own end zone. So here's Jimmy Sampson just across midfield and getting around defenders and then getting cocky there at the end. We're at the 35, though, ending the quarter with Traylor sending it downfield. Carl Agnew beats the defense again. Touchdown, Buffalo. You know, maybe we're going for a few more big plays downfield than we usually do, but at least these last couple worked. Traylor has a good arm, and Carl Agnew has that deep speed, and he is already broken out as one of the top playmakers on this offense. 34-17 in the 4th quarter, as Arkansas State trying to get a little bit closer. They take it down to the 2. And then they do break the plane. Ogunbowale scores his 2nd touchdown of the ball game. It's a 2-score contest again. I had no interest, though, in this game getting interesting again. Here is an RPO that gets dumped off to Nelly Jarrell and goes for a Buffalo first. 3rd and 4, check this out. We're going to run option to the right side. That was ugly, but it got it done. I like speed option. I'm going to keep running it. Here's Sampson now out the right side. Good cut. Man, those jukes are just violent. 3rd and 2. Let's go Lacumbo here. Down the middle. We had our flashy plays, but I knew we had to end the right way. Running the ball, making big plays happen on 3rd down. Carl Agnew does it again. What can't he do? Lacumbo then leaps into the end zone, scoring another touchdown to put this game essentially out of reach. Buffalo returns home in successful fashion. They did make it close, but by the end, we have garbage time with Carlos Harms running out the final minutes. And you know what I'm thinking in these moments, but we did not get a Harms hurdle in this case, unfortunately. Final play here I want to show. We got 3rd and 11. Down goes Diego Quintero. It's a 3-sack day for Larry Wheeler. And actually, they run one more. They thought it was necessary to hurry up and get picked off one more time. Tyreek Carmona. And you know what? Trying to cap this off with a touchdown maybe. But no, he gets run down. That's your ball game here in game 2, everybody. Bulls win 44-24. I was much more satisfied with this win, but maybe I needed the wake-up call there and just had to get that bad loss out of the way so that we could then have a 4-touchdown day for Traylor. No interceptions. We hold off a comeback, finish the game strong. Nice first win here of Season 9. Here are the stats. 10 of 14 on 3rd downs. We ran the ball for 166. Kenyon Traylor, very few mistakes made in this game. Lacumbo goes for 79, and while Cleveland and Sampson weren't as productive, they still at least chipped in. We had everybody getting involved in the offense this time around. And the defense has done a good job of just creating sacks and turnovers. And when you're a team that has the capabilities of putting 30, 40 points on the board, sacks and turnovers are really all you need most of the time. Quintero gets picked off 3 times, twice by Devontae Carrion. And these 2 games would be the appetizer ahead of an early start on ACC play. Stanford is next. The 1-2 Cardinal are a team that's had my number for far too long. It's a good roster that's more offensively focused these days. 87 overall there, 81 on defense. But if you go back to the 2 times we met them this series, you go back to the games in the Kalispell Dynasty, I don't know what it is about Stanford, what it is about that tree, but this is the school that's always given us problems. Last year it was a walk-off win in overtime. A heartbreaking defeat that has not left my memory. We're back here in Season 9. We're looking for our first win against the Stanford Cardinal in this dynasty. And let's dive in to Game 3. We're on defense to start. And here's a Stanford run. They're known for their running game most of the time, and that is a very good start for them, getting to our 34. Next play action, and down goes Avery Hooper, the junior quarterback. Stephen Makovica on the takedown. And facing 3rd and long, he's chased into another sack, taken down by Eric Sharp. So it's 3-0 Cardinal early on at our own 3. We're going to get out of the end zone here, and it's Lacumbo making moves. That's an 18-yard run in style. Then facing a 3rd and 9, hoping to not put that run to waste. Down the field and colliding are Cleveland and Nelly Jarrell. It is a slow start again for the Buffalo offense. Very low scoring first half, as Traylor climbs and has to take it himself this time. Separating in coverage has actually been more of a challenge this season. But here's Lacumbo with another great run, just shedding tackles, and eventually they get him down at the 26. Buffalo to the 22. Chased out of the pocket. Trailer lets it fly. And that's a perfect strike. Touchdown, Buck Jacob. He's an excellent route runner. Good fit here in the slot as he runs the deep crossing route and makes a nice contested grab. 7-3. Here's Hooper getting stuffed for a loss by Makovica. Very tough defense early on by Buffalo as they really keep Stanford from doing anything notable over their first few drives. Here's Jimmy Sampson again, set to return a punt. He's been excellent in this role, and he's eyeing up the near sideline as he breaks a tackle. Gets across the 50. That's a great return to the 39 of the Cardinal. We go 4th and 1 on this drive. Of course, we're going for it, and of course, we're getting it too. Gain of 9 for DeMarco Lacumbo, 9 for 51 here early. So Cleveland gives him a rest, heading outside, setting up the safety. He's down to the 3 with 18 yards of his own. Lacumbo back in the game, and we toss it to him this time. It's a changeup that goes for a touchdown. We don't have to just run it down their throats every time. Touchdown to DeMarco Lacumbo, 14-3 Buffalo early. The half winding down though. Hooper looking downfield deep this time, and it's caught by Leon Rashed. 83-yard touchdown. What a throw and catch. Again, it's a big play given up by this defense. It's been very boom or bust as they get behind Anthony Titus with the speedy Rashed. 14-10. Now entering a 2-minute drill. Sampson's in the game, and he is unable to convert this 3rd and 2. So we're going to bring out Lacumbo again for 4th and a full yard, and he doesn't get it. Stanford stuffs him, and now it's their chance to add on more. Another momentum shift. Nice catch. That's Rashed once again. At our 23, it's 3rd down, and they have to go short. And we bend without breaking. Barely. From down 14-3, they come back to make it a 1-point game. Now, I can convince myself we're going to score with any amount of time remaining. And we had a chance here in this case, but overthrowing Roger Grimm there ends the half. 14-13, another close one against Stanford. So we go into the second half, trying to reestablish control of this game. And these delayed runs have become a favorite of mine. Just give guys like Cleveland some space to operate. Then Trailer down the field again. Agnew at the 31. These are not difficult catches for him. Trailer keeping and heading outside. Nice job there, Roger Grimm. And he pops out of bounds at the 19. We go back to Cleveland. There's a big lane to run through as he almost gets another first down. Then we have a 3rd and goal from the 12. They're defending the end zone well. We can't throw it, so it's up to Trailer, and he dives in. Touchdown, Buffalo. He is the ultimate quarterback for this team. I have loved having Trailer lead this team. 21-13. Stanford ball. Here's a nice run they're able to put together. That's Lee Ivy. And then they'll go with another run here. It's Gideon Okafor getting 6. They start with the run, then play fake off of it, and the pass is tipped right to Anthony Titus and picked off. He runs back across the 40, eyeing the end zone, and he's run down at the 7-yard line. Just forcing this ball down the middle, and our opportunistic defense gets another takeaway. That's the newcomer, transfer Jason Hawkins, who tipped it to Titus. Lacumbo then trying to pound this into the end zone, and Stanford is able to stuff him and be one of the rare teams that's ever prevented us from scoring a touchdown in that situation. We get a field goal and go up 11. Feeling good late 3rd. That's a catch on the outside. They're not getting much on these plays. We were keeping the ball in front of us, making good tackles, and getting off the field. So in the fourth quarter, we have the ball up 11. Now we're trying to just run some clock, keep working out good drives. Nice catch and run by Nelly Jarrell. Then Jacob over the middle makes a catch. Trailer again to the air, and lets the crossing route develop, and Roger Grimm takes it for a Buffalo first down. Doing a lot of this through the air. Trailer, that is incomplete for Jacob. So here's Bowanko again. It is with 16-mile-per-hour wind here, and okay, overcompensated to the right. It's no good. Where's Morgan Grassmanis when you need him? Kind of the last gasp here for Stanford. They need 2 scores late. Nice little end-around jet sweep. Then going down the middle again, we let him get behind us. Leon Rashed scores again. Anthony Titus is supposed to be guarding deep here, and he is not there whatsoever. Deep plays are looking like a weakness this year. But Stanford scores, now going for 2 to make this a field goal game, and they are successful, 24-21. And we know what it's been like against this team in close games in the past. This is a very big drive and working through. I don't even know what to do with all that space with DeMarco Lacombo. Let's go with Cleveland now to the outside. We'll take 5-yard gains. Now on second down, Cleveland. No, we're not going to go inside. There's too much room over here. We're down to 3 minutes now. And Trailer just dumps it off. Positive plays, keep the clock moving. That's all that matters. We roll out Trailer here, 2nd and 2. Very patient. And then finding Roger Grimm, who just goes down. So we can hit the 2-minute warning. At the 34, we go Lacombo on a run. And this gets us to a 3rd and 8. Stanford just trying to get the ball back one more time, and we ought to just force them to use that final timeout. And we're going to trust our defense and also our kicker in this case. The wind's still a factor, but Bowanko has learned from his previous miss and drills it. But we got to keep him out of the end zone here. Crunch time. Stanford has it under 2 minutes. It's Hooper with time and nobody opening up for him. It's our 5th sack of the game. Now 81 yards to travel, no timeouts. He steps up, slings it right to Hester, and it's picked off. Devin Hester wins it for Buffalo, and they've conquered Stanford here in Season 9. Maybe Josh Allen makes the throw here, but that's a little underthrown. And Devin Hester gives us a win we've been waiting for a long time. Even those in Kalispell can rejoice seeing Stanford go down 27-21. Buffalo has a tough start to the year with the way the Arkansas game ended, but they bounce back over their next 2 games. Good victories, back to our style of play, and 2 straight wins keep us inside the top 10. Trailer 1 touchdown, no interceptions in this game. Passing game not all that productive, but we ran the football well, and that's when we're at our best anyway. Grimm had 7 catches this time around, just 4 for Carl Agnew. And the defense once again racked up some turnovers. Braden Augustine, 2.5 sacks. Hooper on the other side, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. It was just the big plays of Leon Rashed that even gave them a fighting chance in this game. Next up for Buffalo is going to be a conference matchup against Florida State. But this is all the action we're going to cover in this video. I'd love to know what you thought of it. Very different video, obviously a long video. I took a little break after the offseason, but now I'm going through one final sprint through this Season 9. We're not far away from College Football 26. I'll be playing that game a couple weeks from now. So I do think as I go through these games, maybe some of them will only be presented with a couple minutes of showing what happened, especially if it's a less interesting game. We always tend to play interesting games though, don't we? But I love your thoughts on this style of video, and if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, and of course your feedback is welcome down in the comments section. Subscribe to the channel, everybody. College football 26 is around the corner, but the Bulls dynasty rolls on for now. Take care. I'll catch you in the next one.